Greetings from North High School. My name is Andy Dahlen, and it's my pleasure to be creating this podcast. This is one of 4 podcasts that our principals will be creating and sharing with our staff. The purpose of the podcast is to free up some of your time during the back-to-school workshop days so that you can get better prepared for the beginning of the year. The second purpose of the podcast is to give you the flexibility to listen and reflect at a time when it's convenient to you. The objective for the podcast is to share information which includes our 14-15 theme, the observational emphasis, professional development plan, a few reminders, and a couple of policies. Let's begin. In 2013, we adopted the phrase, "Every student needs a champion." We adopted this theme after we watched a YouTube video by Rita Pearson. Rita was a teacher who attempted to make a difference with her students every day. We have that same responsibility to encourage, to prompt, to motivate, and I think that's what resonated with us. We developed a Google form and added some names of students who would benefit from having a champion. Faculty identified interests of students and connected with them. Great job, but we still need to do more. On the screen is a 4-year history of FNH dropouts. The first thing that is obvious is the sophomore and junior years where we lose more of our students than other years. Probably due to the fact that minimum age for dropouts is 16 years old. I think it's also concerning, though, for last year that we had 9 seniors in 2014-15 drop out. Either dropped out totally or went to Woodrow and never earned any credits. Still a lot of kids. The second graph describes the annual dropout rate for the last 5 years. You'll notice that our dropout rate has hovered between 3.5% and 1.5%. If we select the annual dropout rate of 2.5%, then over 4 years, approximately 10% of every class drops out. That's a lot of students. But let's continue to make a difference with our students by mentoring and encouraging students to do their best. The observational emphasis is identified by the visual in front of you. You'll notice some similarities, some differences between previous years. The first category is learning goal, which is similar to the phrase learning objective. But the learning goal is continued to be posted so all students can see it. It's a clear statement of knowledge or information as opposed to the activity or assignment. The teacher will make reference to the learning goal throughout the lesson, but of course during prime time 1, the first few minutes of class, and at the end of the class. And to get to that distinguished category, when asking the students can they explain their learning goal or how activities can relate to the learning goal, that would get you to the distinguished category if they could answer it effectively. The second category that we're going to spend time on is establishing classroom routines. This focuses on the teacher and whether they have established expectations regarding rules and procedures that facilitate students working individually, maybe in groups, or as a whole class. The desired effect is students know and follow the rules and procedures. The next category is identifying critical content. It's reflected by the teacher continuously identifying accurate, critical content during a lesson or part of a lesson that portrays a clear progression of information that leads to this deeper understanding of the content. The next category is helping students reflect on learning. The desired effect is that students will examine their level of understanding and identify areas where they're clear and where they are confused. The next category in which principals will give you feedback on is element 24. It's noticing when students are not engaged. And it's evidenced by the teacher scanning the room and noticing when students are not paying attention or not cognitively engaged and take purposeful action. The sixth category is demonstrating intensity and enthusiasm, and it's evidenced by sharing a deep level of content knowledge in a variety of ways. And finally, understanding students' interests and backgrounds is a part of our SIP goal that every student needs a champion. This is our focus for this year. It's our goal as principals is to give teachers feedback in this category and make it a part of the observation tool. 2015-16 Professional Development Plan is charted, and it describes the required components and the optional choices. This is still a draft document. The main focus is the teacher observation tool and the 7 different elements that we explained on the previous page. During the fall semester, we'll absorb some of your prep time. You'll see the days listed here. And it'll garner 7 hours towards the 12 hours of professional development. The Marzani study groups are charted here as well. As we've mentioned, we'll use our prep periods and have discussions about effective teaching. Our plans are to review a video individually and then group score the observation and finish with a discussion. This will happen during your prep periods in the fall semester. The first day of school is August 27th. It's a Thursday, and I'd like to encourage you to create as much excitement for your course as possible. Show your passion, show your excitement, and create engaging activities for the first day. The second suggestion is to spend an extra day or 2 before the first assessment so that students get off to a great start. Hoping that your students will do well and begin with an optimistic attitude to begin the year. So overteach. I think it'll be successful. The third reminder is to fill out the complimentary PTSA membership form that will be in your mailbox during the first week of school. I know that it's a busy time of the year, but take the time to support our PTA and recognize the efforts of our parents. It would be greatly appreciated. My fourth bullet is the support of United Way. Even though the United Way campaign is not until early October, I'd like to put in a plug for United Way. Just last week, United Way distributed over 5,000 backpacks to children in Cass and Clay counties. They have developed goals of supporting education by adopting the Imagination Library and the Food Backpack Program. We really benefit from a strong presence of United Way. I hope that you're able to find it in your heart and in your budget to support United Way. It's also another way that we can be champions. I'm also hoping that we can increase the number of staff who donate through payroll deduction. It's easy, and more information will follow. Another reminder is to wear your staff ID daily. This is an expectation. There was a postcard that was mailed to all FPS employees and a requirement to review your benefits. The window closes on August 31st. Additional information is posted on the employee portal, but a reminder to get that done. The next screen has a review of policies, and the first policy that I'd like to do and review is the consequences for the use of profanity. First one is with regards to slippage in the commons or the hallways or the classroom. During a conversation with another student, if a student slips and uses some profanity, we have consequences for the remainder of the day. If it's directed at a staff member, it's the remainder of the day plus 2. Or swearing at another student is the remainder of the day plus 2. If you have one of those incidents, make sure that you report it to the appropriate assistant principal. Just a reminder about no hats, and because we also have new carpet in the hallways, a reminder that no food or drink is allowed in the carpeted area. So that includes the classrooms. The only allowed liquid is water, so make sure that you enforce that policy. Again, a reminder that we changed our cell phone policy that allows kids to use it in the hallways and in the commons, but that means it's prohibited in the classroom. So make sure that you remind kids of that. Just a screen that we'll have on alcohol drug referrals. On this screen, I've asked what should teachers do when a student is suspected of being under the influence of drugs or alcohol. You notice this flow chart that I created a few years ago. And so it describes what you should do. The first thing to do is to immediately notify the main office. What will happen is that the principal will come down to the classroom and accompany the student back to the main office. We'll determine the student's condition. And if there's reasonable suspicion, we'll search the locker. We'll do a clothing search, and we'll also search some possessions. And then there's 2 options. Either we determine that the student is not under the influence, or in this case, on the right-hand side, if they are under the influence. Of course, if they are under the influence, we'll file police charges, and we'll release the student to the parent, and they'll be suspended. And in other cases, maybe we might return them to the classroom. So again, just to make sure that you're identifying a student that's under the influence, you immediately deal with it. You don't wait to the remainder of the day or even the next day. In front of you is the workshop schedule for beginning of school. Monday, August 24th, all employees will report to the Shields Arena. In the afternoon, it looks like now it begins at 1:30 to 3:35. There's course-alike group meetings. And then on Tuesday, August 25th, we'll have a faculty meeting here at North High. It begins in room 102, promptly at 8 a.m. The Ufta Taco luncheon schedule will begin at 11 o'clock. There was a schedule that was posted in our faculty focus. We also have the all-staff picture later that afternoon at 12:45. Then on Wednesday, teachers will work on their own. We have a new teacher meeting at 8 a.m. Travis is also having a club advisor meeting, and we'll determine that time at another point. And then support staff, just check with your immediate supervisor for your starting time and date. Well, again, welcome back. We're excited for another year at North High, and we look forward to having you here. Thank you.